welcome to TenBefore. Thank you for joining us 10 minutes before worship so we can get to know some of our friends here. My name is Alyssa Morris. I'm the Director of Communications at First United Methodist Church. I'm joined here with Lisa Marissa Dea. She is head of Gastonia Parish Nurse Ministry. And Eddie Ingram, he is our pastoral counselor here at the church. And you see a lot of people that aren't in the church. but So we're going to start to get to know them a little bit better first. So we're going to start with a game. So if you're watching on Facebook, you can comment your answers in the comments below. So which one, Eddie or Lisa, do you think is from Connecticut? All right, so comment your answers below, and we have another trivia question later on that we will answer. So, friends, we're here today to talk a little bit about our mental health through this pandemic. And so everyone has heard all the things about our physical health, but we haven't really focused on our mental health through this. And I know physically we've been told to isolate and distance and hide our facial expressions with masks. I know that's not why we're wearing them, but it's really hard to be isolated during this time. So what are some bigger stressors during this pandemic that you've seen?
Well, I think that obviously when we have a stressor that occurs on a national or global level, individuals as humans, we're going to have some sort of emotional response to that requires an adjustment to what we're calling a new normal. So I believe that the stressor of the global pandemic creates a grieving process through which humans have to move from one way to understand and go through the world into a new level of acceptance. And the challenge with the pandemic is this is sort of a changing reality and there's a lot of uncertainty. So I believe that the emotional mental health crisis that we're dealing with is how do we continue to adjust and adapt to the changing circumstances that are before us, and that creates all sorts of mental and emotional challenges for us, I think. So,
absolutely.
I'd like to add that social distance does not mean social isolation, and so I recommend that people reach out and stay connected through, phone, text. The video chats now are so common and popular and getting more comfortable, and so I think just staying connected to people is very important.
Definitely. And off of that, what are some ways we can call people, we can Zoom with people? What are some other ways that we can take care of ourselves mentally?
Well, I would say that one of the things, I did a program a few years ago in my ministry training called The Courage to Lead, based on Parker Palmer's The Courage to Serve. And I understood the seasons of life. Our life seasons are similar to the seasons of the year. And one of the things that we met in the wintertime, and as one of the 4 seasonal meetings we had, and one of the things that was an amazing idea when they considered trees is that trees go through more growth in the wintertime than they do in the summertime. The summertime appears like a season of abundance. The wintertime seems like a season of death or dormancy, but it's actually where the roots are strengthened and where wonderful redemptive things can happen in what appears to be a bad situation. And I would say that some of the things that we can take is to understand that during a time which appears to be a crisis or a difficult time can also be a time to open up opportunities for us to take care of ourselves in ways that we wouldn't normally take care of ourselves in a world of harvest and abundance. Perhaps some individual work that we can do, some mindfulness activities that we can do to be able to pay attention to the simple things in life that we might otherwise miss in times of busyness and times where we're out and about and distracted in other ways. There's lots of opportunities to see and experience some of the simple things of life in ways that we haven't been able or couldn't or didn't see previously. So with that mindfulness attitude and perspective, I think it gives us the opportunity to do a considerable amount of growth and integration as we become deeper people during a time that appears to be just, if we look at it in one way, just a time of crisis, but it's more than what meets the eye.
What are some easy things we can do physically to take care of ourselves? I know we're being told a lot of different things right now. Wear a mask, wash your hands, hand sanitizer, all these things. What are some more things that we can do without feeling like it's just one more thing that we need to do?
Well, I would say that there is not to get too much into the understandings of what happens with our body under times of stress. When cortisol is released, which is the adrenaline that helps us survive a crisis, it has a toll on our bodies in many ways. And so people who are under stress very often experience physical symptoms and have physical challenges when they're having emotional strain. And so there is a connection between our physical wellness and being able to relieve our stress. So I would certainly say normal routines that we can build into exercise, eating well, deep breathing, whatever we have to do to maintain a sense of physical health and wellness the best that we can, and also to practice the emotional things, which then lowers the cortisol, which allows all of our other systems in our body to function as normally as possible, and understand the connection between our mental and physical wellness.
Okay, so we're going to answer our trivia questions. So who is from Connecticut?
The southern drawl gave it all away, I'm sure, for
Yes,
me.
Lisa, you are from Connecticut. You grew up there.
I did.
Awesome. Eddie, where did you grow up?
In Greensboro, High Point,
Greensboro.
Greensboro area, yes, North Carolina.
Well, good to know. We have one more trivia question for you if you want to comment below. Does Eddie or Lisa, which one has kids in college right now? So we're going to take a little bit of time to talk about announcements coming up. If you're interested in joining us on TenBefore, please reach out to Stephanie Jenkins, and her email you'll see below. Next week, August 30th, is our chance to hear from all the different small group opportunities that we have starting in fall. And also, don't forget to send in your pictures for our pews. We have lots of friends that have sent their pictures in, and I love seeing those every morning and just remembering who's sitting where. Another really great event coming up is one that our very own Lisa Marisadea is planning. And Lisa, I will let you tell them about this event. It also has to do with mental health, right?
Correct. The focus of my ministry from long past, prior to the pandemic, is mental health awareness and reducing the stigma of seeking help with pastoral counselors and counselors throughout the community. And so we had a great Zoom meeting in May, and it had over 1,000 viewers and really saturated throughout this area and across the U.S. and 4 countries represented. And so there's definitely a need for this information and the desire. So we have another one coming up on September 16th. It's Navigating the Path to Emotional Wellness, and this one is focusing on complementary modalities to talk therapy.
So we're going to answer our trivia question. Who has kids in college? Trick question. They both do. So I know this has been a weird time for them to start college and for people to start new jobs and start school. One thing we talked about last week, if you saw our TenBefore, Christy and Stephanie talked about how we're wearing masks to school and that hides our emotions, and we've got to take responsibility and tell people how we're feeling. So who do we tell, who do we call when we're having a difficult time right now?
I'm happy to have people in the congregation reach out to me, and I will direct you to counselors. Eddie is usually my first go-to as someone I've worked with and have great confidence for almost 10 years now. So there's Eddie, there's, Russ Keeney is with CareNet Counseling, and he's located at First Presbyterian Church. And there's a lot of good resources here locally. But one thing I would like to just emphasize is to be open to share if you feel like you need help. As I mentioned, I want people to just get away from the stigma of seeking help. So mention it to somebody. Call me. I'll help you to get to the right resources. And also, as you see other people, ask that direct question. Ask them, are you okay? And if you sense something, just help people. You are not responsible to solve their issues, but you can help direct them to seek help. And there's great help right here at our church. So I encourage everyone to be very mindful of that.
Definitely. Well, is there anything else you guys would like to add?
Well, we just, I know, speaking for both of us, that we are so thankful to have the opportunity to be in partnership and ministry with the church and the community as a bridge and as resource, and to continue to encourage people to not feel alone. They may feel isolated, but they are certainly not alone. And there are people who care, and we want to be representatives of that for anyone who needs help. So.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, and I hope this was a good reminder to you that you're not alone and that there are great resources here in our community and at our church for you if you're having a difficult time. I know I've used them many times, so please reach out to us and let's get ready for worship.